G'day, I'm Rob Paxavanis and welcome to Fishing Australia. Now, when you ask most people about Tasmania, they say two things: pristine waterways and unspoilt wilderness, just like this. But when you ask a fisherman, they add in one extra thing: trout. We're in the Tasmanian Central Highlands, about 2.5 hours drive from either Launceston or Hobart. There's around 3,000 lakes in Tassie and around 30 in this area alone. Add to this the rivers and streams and you've got trout fishing heaven. I've based myself in the beautiful town of Tarraleah. It was originally built in the 1930s to service the Tassie hydroelectric scheme. It now caters for all budgets, from the very top to the average Aussie family. The best part is that it's located smack bang in the middle of some of the world's most beautiful waterways, full of wild trout. Tassie trout change their mind like the weather. They'll take a fly or lure when it suits their mood. So depending on the day, the wind and the local conditions, it pays to be ready to change it up and swap to whatever works best. I've hooked up with Tarraleah's resident guide and local expert, Rob Aitkenhead. And while the weather's good, we're going to tackle beautiful Lake King William. Now, to me, this looks like the sort of structure where I'd cast lures to territorial brown trout, but we're using the fly, Robbie.
We are using the fly, mate. We're in a great spot all the way along these edges here. We've got big, deep drop-offs, a lot of sunken timber in the water, great shoreline to fish. Fish will be sitting on these drop-offs, waiting for a knock on the door. That's our fly.
Casting flies to some structure-dwelling brown trout. Sounds like a plan.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's good there. That's good. Ooh. Yep, he's on.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Go, Robbie, it's a good one.
There's a nice one.
On
There's a
your
nice one.
dummy.
He's going in.
Oh!
He's going up the rocks.
There we are there. If you can come here, Robbie, I'll get my fly off yours.
Yep.
Gently. Oh, I'm off. I'm off, mate. Yep, I'm off. He's all yours.
Okay.
What a beautiful little fish. Round to the left, mate. You can.
There you go. Just he's come and whacked that. I didn't see it at the very end.
Oh, he's still got some fight. Geez, the wild ones are just so healthy and spirited, these fish.
Self-sustaining population here.
You got him! Woo! Hey! First wild brown trout out of Lake King William. I'll just get him out there. Look at that for a healthy brown trout. Have you got that, Robbie?
Yeah, mate.
Come in here, mate. Look at the spots on that fish. What a stunning specimen. Beautiful fish. We'll get him back in the water.
Yeah.
Geez, they fight for their size. Unreal. What a start. It's a cold Tassie morning, for a mainlander anyway, but Rob has dropped us onto some red-hot trout fishing.
Oh, yep.
Got him!
Whoa! Rainbow! Whoa! Hey! Well done,
Oh,
mate.
my goodness, that was
You saw him.
sensational. That was a hoot. Woohoo! Here we go. Look at that fish there. He's going to jump again here. Fantastic fun.
You
we haven't
couldn't
got
get
him.
better than that.
Oh! That fish there was just textbook fly fishing. I'm so happy just to catch one fish like that. Look at the fight. Look at him. You can catch a fish out of a stocked fish out of a farm dam that's twice that size and you won't put on the fight like that. The wild fish are just incredible. Look at the colour. Right, we're going to get him there. Under. Woo!
All right.
Look at that there. Let's get this guy out here. Look at that fish there. A beautiful rainbow trout. Just get him on the tail there. Turn him round. Look, he's taken that fly there. Look at that fly that he's got. It's a red tag. Well, he'd be around about a kilo, around about, I don't know, say 45 centimetres long. Beautiful fish on a 5-weight rod. A lot of fun. And you can see why they get the name rainbow trout. That rainbow along, that stripe along the edge. And rainbow trout, compared to brown trout, always have spots on the tail. In case you catch one that looks a little bit like that, it's a brown. They can look the same sometimes, but he's definitely a rainbow. The Tasmanian high country can get cold and nasty, but on a beautiful day with low wind, the open lakes are the place to be.
People are a bit put off by, lake fishing, so they think lake fishing, well, where you're going to go. It's a big bit of water when we start fishing. We can't see them. But, you've got to understand the structure. You've got to work around the structure, and that's what we do. We fish off the edges.
Trout are actually an introduced species to Tasmania, first brought here in around 1890. Since then, they've flourished to the point where every visitor should experience the thrill of catching one of these amazing fish. This is where the term match the hatch comes from. There's a mayfly there on Robbie's finger, and there's a mayfly emerger that we've had tied up to imitate that. Trout all over the world absolutely love mayflies. They're probably their number one food, isn't it?
Number one food, for sure.
They will just eat them until they can't eat anymore. They absolutely love them. And if you can match that with a fly, you've got a great chance of catching one. Problem with trying to cast that on anything but a fly rod, it's too light, and that's how fly fishing actually came about. The weight is in the line, there's a long clear bit that presents that fly a long way from the green fly line, which has got the weight, and that's why fly fishing is so special. Great fun. And look at the surroundings. It gives you an excuse to be in a place like this. Fantastic. Oh, yep.
Yeah, he's on. Well done. Let's go.
Yep.
Go forward.
Look at the country we're fishing in here. That's what I was talking about, lure fishing. Generally, where I come from anyway, you wouldn't fly fish through structure like that. You generally cast lures, but look at that guy there. Beautiful rainbow trout. He's taken the red tag, which is a nondescript pattern. Looks like a beetle, looks like other things. Trout can be not only selective feeders, i.e. selectively feeding on mayflies, they can also be opportunistic. Often when you keep one and have a look inside its stomach, sometimes it'll have mayflies only, in which case your fly choice has to be right on the money. Could be one of 100 different things they could be selectively feeding on, or more often than not, they're opportunistic. They might have a mayfly, they might have a snail, a midge, which is known as a chironomid, they could have a stick caddis, all these little bugs you've got to learn about, which is half the fun. But that guy there, he took another famous fly, known as a red tag. I've never fly fished in such snaggy territory. This is great fun. It just goes to show every time you fish, especially when you go to new places like King William Lake, you're going to find new things, new ways to fish. And with fly fishing, you've got to do whatever it takes to get the fly in the right spot. And if that means holding onto a stick and jumping up on the bow to get your fish, so be it. Whatever it takes.
Oh, there on.
That's a better fish, mate.
That is a nice one.
You can't see it from here, but just once again, that laying down timber. Brown trout are a lot more territorial than rainbow trout. They'll lay underneath logs and come out and take a lure or a fly. And this is really exciting for me because I've never cast flies to sticks like that. Done it with lures plenty of time. So matching the hatch and casting like that is fantastic. This is a better fish, mate.
These are much better fish. Bit of deeper water here too.
I might just get that net. There we go.
Thanks, Rob. Bit of deeper water.
Yeah, but still come out from under the log. There he is there now. There he is in the water there. Look at that. Look at that. Now we're talking. Way! Oh. Well done, Robbie.
Thanks,
now,
mate.
There you go. Oh, come on, fella. Now, I'll just get you there. If you hold that net, mate, just in case I drop him. A good technique is to hold the net like that. Is that a gum beetle fly you've got on?
That's a little gum beetle I snuck on there just before.
We'll have a look at that in a minute, but look at that guy there. I'm just putting the net underneath so that if we drop him, he gets caught. A beautiful, wild, brown trout. Just a fantastic fish. See, notice no spots on the tail. About an average size fish for here. Good quality fish. That's what fishing in Tasmania is all about. Catching a trout like that in good numbers on dry fly. Awesome stuff, Robbie.
All right, mate.
Always a good idea to take a sneak peek at the guide's fly box when he's not watching. I can notice in here, he's got some caddis patterns, some red tags, some glister tag, which is basically a red tag with a bit of glister tied in, some beautiful mayfly patterns over here. And I thought I saw him tying a gum beetle a minute ago, but hasn't got a clue. Too windy.
My chance to strike with Rob's lucky fly was limited as the day drew to an end on Lake King William.
That was the best one yet. It was about yay big.
There's always tomorrow.
Unlike a lot of the fishing we do, this type of fishing is actually better when the sun's a bit higher in the sky, not when it's coming down like this. You can see the fish, it's more enjoyable and it's a little bit warmer. But there's still plenty more ways to catch a trout, so stick around. Trout, as winter approaches, especially brown trout, swim upstream to breed. Now, Adam, you give them a little bit of a hand. It all starts in the Great Lake where there's a good population of wild brown trout. Man-made channel going through here, flowing water. They're attracted to that because it flows year-round. How do you catch the trout to spawn them?
We've got down further, we've got an anti-jump screen, so the fish can't get up any further from that.
Okay.
They like to use the side channels, and they sneak up the side channel and into our trap, which we've got here. And they can't go any further than here, so.
So how many baby trout would you make a year, roughly?
Probably about 100,000, something like that.
100.
A few more.
And how many would you take out of this system to place in other systems?
Probably around about 10,000.
10,000 trout.
Depending on how many fish we get in here and where we can stock other waters.
These are your classic Great Lake brown trout. You know, they're all between sort of 45 and 55 centimetres long. Look at that! That's the way to catch trout. How do we settle these guys down? All right. Oh, look here. I want to grab the big one.
She may or may not run.
Yeah.
You can see some eggs coming out there.
Yep. That's where little baby trout start. Those eggs there. And then you get the show us a male. Okay. Look at the colour on that fish. There's your classic bright spawning colours, and that's why we're using lures that are bright orange and goldy colour to try and get that aggressive response. Now, these guys will happily breed on their own, but the guys here assist them, and that means they can stock brown trout right around Tasmania, and that's part of the reason it's such a fantastic fishery.
With that amount of trout for inspiration, I'm ready to catch some. And with the wind up a little, the smaller streams are the place to go.
What we're trying to do is get the fly across the other side there, get a nice drift, and then let him come round to the end of the drift, and then recast.
Yes! Go, Robbie.
Just a little one, Rob.
It's all right, it's a fish. Isn't that interesting? We threw the lures in, had a couple of hits, and you would have thought that it would have spooked them. But you've thrown your little fly in there and he's taken it.
I'm not sure which one he took, mate. I've got two on there. I've got a little dropper.
Yeah.
I've got a little caddis moth and a little stick caddis just underneath.
And you just never know with the trout. They could be feeding on a fly. They could want a lure. It's good to be able to try both. You're a lively little fella. Here you go. Oh, what a beautiful little fish.
Yeah.
I just love rainbow trout. They are just a magnificently marked and coloured fish, and he's taken that, looks like a royal wolf.
Yeah, he's taken the wolf, yeah.
Okay, you've got a stick caddis on the tail, but a beautiful little fish. Get that little fly out the corner of your mouth, buddy. Come on, fella. Here you go. Got that. You go back. Now have a look at that. That's known as a royal wolf, a nondescript pattern.
A nondescript pattern for us.
Which means it could resemble a number of things, nothing in particular, but it's one of my favourite flies, and certainly probably one of the most famous dry flies in the world. What I like about the royal wolf is that you can see you can pick out the white wings very easily. They float really well.
Good hackle float, yep.
You got another bug on the end there, a stick caddis.
A little stick caddis, which is representing the larva stage for the caddis moth, which I've been using, but I did switch it over to the wolf, just to see it a little bit better on the water, as you say.
In my experience, little rainbows love those royal wolves, but the stick caddis is a great fly. There's so many flies to choose from, but you know, if you didn't know where to start, that'd be a great fly to start with, as a dry, that is. But look, great fun, mate. Just goes to show. Those lures went through there, and they still come and fed on this fly afterwards. And there has been a few insects hatching, and another little hidey hole you've got when it's a bit windy up on the lakes, mate.
Always going to have something up your sleeve, Rob.
Good guides always do.
When you're lure fishing for trout in a small waterway, it's best to try a few casts and then keep moving, which is not a bad thing when the scenery is this good. There's no shortage of spots, but not 5 minutes drive from our base at Tarraleah, Rob tells me he knows a secret spot that in the past has delivered some of Tassie's biggest trout. It's not what you'd call classic unspoiled Tassie wilderness, but hey, if trout up to 20 pounds like the place, who am I to argue?
All right.
Nice one.
Yeah, about half a dozen casts here. No secret spot, mate. The Tarraleah power station here, I believe.
That's correct. Right underneath the Tarraleah power station right now, so...
It's a classic tail race fishery. They turn it on and off, so this can be still at one moment, then a raging torrent the next.
That's right.
And it has some beautiful little fish in it too. Look at this guy. Just a small little brown trout, but he smacked that larger lure there. That's a CD7. They're looking for food coming down those tunnels the size of that, and that's a dead ringer for a little rainbow trout or something like that. In fact, little rainbow trout is about the only thing that'll get that big around here besides brown trout. So he's taken that for a rainbow trout and come unstuck. I'll let him go, but shows how aggressive they can be.
That's right. Nice one.
Now this is the Tasmania that trout fishing dreams are made of. A perfect day for fishing.
Robbie, this all looks good to me, but is there anything in particular we're looking for?
Again, Rob, structure's the best thing to look for. These deep banks, a lot of timber just along the shoreline. So you want to try and hug as close as we can to the shore. Get these reparlers down nice and deep.
Maybe troll along and sound it out and maybe cast on the way back. Get
That's
a bit
it.
closer again.
We get a lot of resident trout just sit along those edges.
And look, I've got to say, this is the sort of spot where truly if you didn't catch a fish, you wouldn't be worried. I mean, look at it. It's like absolutely gobsmacking.
We certainly are lucky.
Another one. This is just fantastic fishing. We've gone from trolling along the edges, just scoping out the environment, and we've come back along the edges that we've sussed out and we're casting in hard towards the bank. Brown trout, territorial, much like a golden perch or a barramundi in more ways than what a lot of people realise. And just getting in hard against cover and then rolling it back with the hard body lures, covering a lot of ground. If you get a follow or a looker, don't dwell on it, go on to the next show. Looking for fresh fish the whole time. Another beautiful brown trout. Look at this guy here. Look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yep, got a nice one here, Rob. Nice little brownie. Probably about a pound and a half. Smack that orange reparler right on the edge. A couple of cranks, and we're on. Not bad, Rob?
Not bad indeed. This surely must be trout fishing heaven.
Whatever sort of lures you decide to troll, it always pays to hold the rod in your hand. That way, if you're looking somewhere else and you get a bite, at least you know you've had a bite. Now, I'm trolling two here. I'm comfortable doing that, but one in your hand is better than two in the rod holder. That's for sure.
A lovely little river flowing in just up here on the right, Rob. Worth giving that a go.
The brown trout fishery in Tasmania is managed so well that the Inland Fisheries Service encourages you to keep it fishing in a lot of instances. Of course, every lake and every creek and river in Tasmania has different regulations, so you want to look them up at ifs.tas.gov.au. But I'm going to keep this guy because he's easily legal size and he's in fantastic condition. And a brown trout in good condition is easily as good at eating as a rainbow trout. That's a fantastic fish and a great little dinner for me tonight.
Okay, on again. Not too bad, Rob. As soon as that lure hit that water, he went bang. Nice fish. Nice brownie. Nice brownie. Whew. That's exciting.
For links, more info on today's show and much, much more, check out the website www.fishingaustralia.tv.
Well, how about Tasmania? You could come here for the scenery just like this, but add in the trout fishing on offer, and you can see why I absolutely love the place. Until we meet again, I'm Rob Paxavanis, and from all the team at Fishing Australia, we'll see you on the water.